Hello, it's Jane here, and I've popped up from amongst the cosmos to welcome you to my August tour. I mean, really, you'll come to see actually if you watch the rest of the video, and please do, that this is probably the nicest bit of the allotment at the moment, which is why I keep focusing on it, because the weather this last month, I know us Brits like to talk about the weather all the time, but it's been one extreme to another. And the most recent part of that extremity has been absolute lashings of rain. So you'll see as we go through the allotment what rain does. After an extensively dry period, rain on the ground suddenly provides the most perfect environment for weeds. So yes, there's no point in pretending that I can keep on top of them, because to be honest, I can just do what I can. But we'll soon find out as we go for a look around. Okay. Though the other thing is, it was actually cloudy and, well, just not very nice when I left the house, and I've got this jumper on and I'm blooming boiling, and apart from anything else it's really difficult to get the mic on. So yeah, lesson learned, you know, look at the weather forecast in future. But come on, we'll have a little look in the greenhouse. Okay, greenhouse number one. Again, not much in it. Everything's either been planted out or put in the polytunnel now, but these chilies have just been brilliant. Although I've got to say, I remember telling you on the last tour that I actually cheated and bought them in a pack that says chilli mixed. So I don't quite know what flavour, what variety they are. But these ones, we've picked these at the purple stage. But if you look there, there's a red one. Can you see that? What's that doing there? I don't know if you can see that. Little fella. So I don't know if we're supposed to leave them to ripen and go different. Oh look, there's more. Now look, you see the red ones are really small, but the purple ones are a good size. Now these ones at the front, they're slightly smaller plant, and we've got the red ones on there as well, which to me look like those really hot ones. Can't remember the names, I'm not good with chilies, but yeah, I wonder if they've cross-pollinated. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Anyway, and then further on we've got the giant parsley, which still and will never, has been, will be planted out, but just gets chopped as we need it. And here's more chilies, look. It's the tail of the chilies. And these are my little geranium cuttings, which again, they're not going to make it outside this year, but they really brighten up this little corner of the greenhouse. And then greenhouse number two, we have had stacks of cherry tomatoes. Stacks and stacks and stacks. And of course with cherry tomatoes, they're not worth processing to store, but you can see we're still got quite a few trusses on there to come. Whereas on this side, there are the larger tomatoes. Now I'm kneeling down at the moment, so I'm going to try and zoom in rather than shuffle along on my knees. But can you see the size of those tomatoes there hanging? Again, I can't remember what they are, but really looking forward to those. If I show you here though, the cherry tomatoes in particular, because they ripen quite quickly, they tend to fall onto the ground. And of course, that's why we get so many little tomato volunteers in here, which ultimately just get pulled up. I mean, bless it, look at this little one here. That's from a last year tomato seed. It's way too late for this little fella, but he's trying. But yeah, so it makes you wonder why we bother sowing the seeds in February and March, when actually we could just come along here, leave these to their own devices, and then just come along here and help ourselves to the seedlings. So I'm going to leave those and see what happens. The peppers are starting to come. Again, they're not doing brilliantly, but actually better than we have had before. So they're okay. And then on the other side, we've got our spare cucumbers that went in, which have been keeping us going. But if I stand up and turn around, I'll show you what I'm really excited about in here. There we go. These little beauties, once again, they haven't let us down. I mean, this vine is ridiculously vigorous. It really should be pulled up and put somewhere else. And I know we should clip all the little ones out and let some of these, what do you call them? Fruits get bigger so they're sweeter. But I've got to be honest, they're quite sweet, you know. But again, if we look all the way along, we have got, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up because I'm in my own shadow now. We have got grape upon grape upon grape. It's a bit of a grape jungle. Sorry. Let's just show you under there, look. So yeah, we're definitely going to make the most of those this year. What would you do with all these grapes that doesn't involve a bucket and a pair of feet? Let me know in the comments below. We finally put a second wire up for the Blackberries and the Tayberries. So we've managed to get, I can't see it through that lens, I hope you can see it, the blackberry stems tied up because they're going to be fruiting on those stems next year. So they are now out the way. But as you can see, if I lower the camera, it's all a bit of a muddle down there. Now these were strawberry plants, these were runners that we put in last year. So this year they're first year plants, which makes them absolutely perfect to move to their new site, which I'll show you in a minute. And the gooseberries are in there somewhere. Now this bed here had our Parmesan broad beans, which were a lovely red colour, but unfortunately just went to a normal green once they were cooked, but never mind, they were nice. And what I'm going to do, I am going to, sorry I've just knocked the mic there, I am going to probably just dig these in. Because actually I do sort of feel like, what's the point of pulling up the beanstalks, chopping them up and put them on the compost when I can just chop them up and dig them in the soil direct, especially for over the winter. So hopefully in the spring they will have enriched the soil that little bit more. But if we look at the end here, these are my train driver mountain range peas, which I wanted to leave to dry on the stems so I could save the seed. But if I show you one of the dangers of doing that in wet weather, is that, excuse my shadow, is that ultimately your seed can't start to go like this. The pod can look at that like that. Now, they might be okay, but what you don't want is for any mould, excuse me, to start getting in. So what I'm going to do today, when I finish filming, I will pick the rest of these that are left on the stem, because we're due for some really, really wet weather again this week, and I would hate to lose these. These have been such an absolute treat from Sarah, and it was so kind of her to send them in the first place, that I really, really want to be able to keep them going and ultimately pass them on to other people. But I think the way they're going this year, I'll probably have just enough, sorry my voice has gone, just enough for a crop for next year, but we keep going. Okay, so we're up at the top end of the plot now, and on this side we've got the bed of doom, we've called it this year, that had our onions in that really did really badly. So that has now had, all the onions have come up, as you can see. It's had cardboard on, it's had compost on, and that's the last little bit of topsoil that we put on. So hopefully next year whatever goes in there will be off to a flying start. But if we look at this side, the corresponding bed, you know, the lavender's really dying back and the bees are still loving it. we've got my first ever dwarf beans. Now, I can't remember what they are. I think, I know they're yellow, which is great. I'd be a great detective. I know they're yellow beans and there's a lot of them. Are they Kentucky yellow? Something or other? Wonder wax? Anyway, they're meant to be a waxy yellow bean, and I haven't done a picking of these. These were looking awful until about a week ago. And then all of a sudden, you know, as I say about these things, once you focus, we've got loads there. I mean, you know, it's not going to see us through a harsh winter, but I'm actually really pleased. This is supposed to be standing up. They're meant to be self-supportive. Why is it falling down? That's because of the weather we've had. But yes, I'm really pleased about them. So I'll be doing another little harvest of them, or sorry, the first harvest of them, as something else to take home later on. We've taken the top leaves off the potatoes. Now, although they didn't have blight, they were dying back, and with all the humid weather that we had, look at that, gardener's hands, eh? All the humid weather we had, it was just tempting fate, really. So the potatoes are still in, and I think what's going to happen, we're just going to dig them up as we need them, because we may as well store them in the ground. They shouldn't come to much harm. There might be the odd little bit of slug damage, but keep them under the ground. Their skins will thicken up over time and they should store quite well. But if I take you to the top, the ones that we have dug up, we've replaced with leeks, which are actually, let me see if I can turn, oh, I don't want to get the sun in your eyes as well. They've actually turned out quite well, you know. Really happy about those, and we have got more to go in, so we are going to have to dig up some more potatoes at the back there to put them in. But yeah, looking good. Oh, leeking potato soup. We are still getting armfuls of Cavolo Nero, and I expect to be getting it really right through the winter months. Look at that little white butterfly, can you see that? Oh, you villain. Yeah, we've taken the net off the kale though. To be honest, we've got that much of it. The butterflies may as well have a little feast. But yeah, that's doing well as well, but as I say, not as well as the Cavolo Nero. And up past the kale, we have got the majority of our roots really for the winter. So we've got the parsnips doing really well, beetroot, carrots. We will be putting more carrots in definitely somewhere when somewhere becomes available. But actually we're really, really pleased. Yes, it's overcrowded, and yes, it needs weeding, but you know what, really, really pleased with them. And again, this rain over the last week or two has seen them put on such a growth spurt, so fingers crossed they won't get munched and we'll get to munch them ourselves. Now, if you can ignore the picturesque trug to the side there, this year I underplanted the apple tree in the middle of the plot with chives as a bit of a companion planting experiment, because the chives themselves are meant to deter apple scab, and this tree in particular was hit really badly with scab last year. So I'm pleased to say, please ignore the borage as well, that is going to be removed to a different area, but it's been beautiful for the bees. I'm pleased to say the apples this year are looking wonderful. They are actually, can you see that? I don't know. They are really, really clean. Oh good, the sun's come out just in time. And so whatever it is that those chives have done, and whether you believe in the power of companion planting or not, I tell you something, they can stay. They've done a brilliant job. Let me just show you my little scuttle. Do you remember the little scuttle with the mint in it? That's all sort of starting to die back, or the flowers are starting to die back, but that again, with the mixed planting around it, that's been a haven for bees and hoverflies this year. But before we go into the polytunnel, let me just show you around the side, because again, I did mention at the beginning of the year that I was going to be planting flowers for my daughter's wedding, which was going to be next weekend. Well, as you can imagine, as with so many other things, it's been postponed. But these are some of the flowers that she was going to have. So I've got that salvia again. Look, the wind's got these and battered them. This scabious, beautiful. I really, look at now. I'm not sure if they flowered. No, yes, they have. They're the seed pods, aren't they? You see, I don't know because I've not grown this one before, but I shall certainly be saving seeds from that. I can't remember the name of them, of the variety, but they were beautiful. But also this other cosmos. Now, I always thought cosmos sort of came in pastel shades, but this one is called Dazzler. And again, it's on its last legs here, but I don't know if you can see the activity around there with the bees and the hoverflies. It has absolutely dazzled. It's been glorious. So again, yeah, I will be saving some seeds. Now we have the beans, which I know have been problematic for so many people this year. Paul and Vivi have both mentioned it. Patricia, bless her, and I know several other people had their bean canes sort of smashed down at the weekend because of the storms that we had. But fortunately, touch wood, fingers crossed, and all the other things I can possibly do, they're okay. They're not brilliant, but they're okay. We have got the hedge, great big tree line right round the edge of the plot, which has helped to shelter them from the worst of the winds. But again, I can't remember what these are. Again, I know they're a yellow one and they're a waxy, stringless, supposedly pod. But I have not picked any yet. This will be my first picking. And so I'm actually really excited about them. Because again, it's not a variety I've tried, so I want to see if they live up to what it says on the seed packet. If I can find the seed packet. Oh dear, but I do remember choosing them because they were meant to be very waxy and stringless, so we'll give them a go. But yeah, although they took a long time to come, and again we can all put this down to the weather, I think, to a large extent. You can see there, you know, that these two have disappeared completely, these two canes. I don't know if you can see that one. That one's been nipped at the top and it's just about making a recovery now. But look, for example, this one here, that struggled, but bless it, oh look, it's still trying. And if we go all the way up, I don't know if that's the one. Yeah, it's pretty much had it. And the gigantes are coming through from the other side. But yeah, the fact that we've got any beans at all this year, excuse me while I go wandering, is great. Gigantes, love them. Not many pods. I'm hoping again the rains will have swollen the pods up a bit, and I will be picking them. Demi-sec. So wait for the plants to die off a bit. That's better. And then pick them, but you can see there's not many pods. There's been lots of flowers, but not so many pods. Lady Di, runner bean, far more flowers on this side, so that should probably do quite well. I'm actually walking backwards. I can't see what's coming out of the camera. And then at the back, actually, these are the Bellotti, and I can't see many flowers on these at all. There's one. Two, maybe under there. Yeah, so they're going to have to get their skates on, because as you all know, they're my favourite bean. But okay, not bad. Could have been better, but could have been so much worse. Got to admit, another thing that the rain has been really good for is the squash, because again, they were struggling, and it was like they were about a month behind, and I can only put that down to the fact that the soil was that dry, it had been that parched, that it took them quite a while to catch up. But if you remember the milk and mildew video that I did, I'll see if I can remember to put a card up. I sprayed the courgette. This one in particular was really, really badly affected by mildew. Look at that. worked. I'm always amazed. I mean, it might not have been that particular leaf, but you know, let's see. There's a little bit down there. Can you see that? Yeah, that's had some damage, but look, I'll get rid of that. It's got so many new leaves that, you know, I think that milk actually did something. So I will be using that method again. And also, this one wasn't producing anything up until about a week ago. And now we've got these, well, I think they're patty pan. No, they don't look like patty pan, do they? They were meant to be like a patty pan style squash. There's plenty of them, but beautiful. I thought you might like this though. We've repurposed the hammock so that when the apples fall from this particularly heavily laden branch just above it, it'll give them like a nice soft landing, a bit of a trampoline effect, so they shouldn't get too damaged. And if you notice, not one apple has fallen on it so far. I don't know. Sweet corn, very much a slow starter, very much behind, but they are providing tassels now. Oh, I've just noticed this one. Look. Oh, we've got a little baby sweet corn there, and actually one next to it as well. So who knows, we might get 2 cobs this year. If we get anything, they're, you know, they're a bonus, because like I say, they were put in very, very late. But yeah, fingers crossed for them. And then I'll take you into the tunnel. Okay. The onions. That's a few of what's left. I mean, you can see the state they were in. So they're happily in here drying out. But while we're here, let me just show you something that's been really good. Now, whether these will come to full fruition, I don't know, but we've got melons. First time ever. Look at that now. Only the 2. I mean, I'm not a big fan of melons anyway, to be honest, but that'd be lovely if they grow. And then, oh look, I should get some milk on here. Oh, I don't know. Comical cucumbers. You can't get moved for them, can you? But the the tomatoes, I've had about, from in here, it's looking a bit depleted now, I've had about, oh look at the state of it, that's where Rocky was lying the other day because it was raining, £30 so far of the beefsteak tomatoes. I'm saying beefsteak, I don't know some of them. Yeah, so as I realise, as I'm showing you around, you can't actually see any of them. So if I show you, the ones that have been particularly good are these, and I think these are the pink heart. I don't know. If you think there's something else, let me know. There's more of them here, look. And here. They seem to keep their yellow shoulders, but other than that, they've been beautiful. The shape's really lovely as well. And the other one, I'm saying the other one and the other one and the other one because I keep seeing them, and this has actually pulled down the whole plant, is the orange banana. Again, comical name. And if we see there, they've got this lovely elongated shape, but what a colour. Beautiful colour. And if we look in there, that is producing and producing and producing. So I will definitely be keeping seeds from them. They've been really prolific and they're tasty. Oh, would you look at that? I'm trying to get a vantage point where you can see as many squash as I can. Again, once you start getting your eye in, you can start counting them. Let's go and have a look at these. Do you remember though, earlier in the year, I was really keen, oh there's a courgette there, that shouldn't be there. Really keen on putting in bottles to feed them with stakes with their name on the top. Yeah, that didn't last. But look, 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 let me get out the light. One little squash. You see that one? There's one up there. I don't know if you can see it, there it is, 2 little squash. There's one over there, 3 little squash. Look at this one. Now this one, again, excuse my gardener's hands if I show you that. That is a fair size squash. That is a proper super duper pumpkin style squash, isn't it? It's got a little friend over there. Let's have a little walk around and see what else there is. For someone silly Nelly who put a jumper on before she left the house thinking there was a real change in the air, I'm absolutely boiling. And I mean, I came up to this top end of the plot, the beans are just there, and I was going to harvest all the beans and the kale to take home for tonight. And I've just come and sat down because I've just got too hot. So yeah, I've got the sun beating down at me over there. I've probably got an apple going to drop on me any moment now. But I did want to show you my flowers. Something I have cut is the flowers. We're due to have over here in the UK, I think this week's going to be fairly dramatic again, with winds and gusts and all sorts of different storms. I've given up trying to remember the names. So these flowers, if I leave them here, they're just going to get absolutely battered. So why not crop them? Why not harvest them? Why not take them home? And they were planted originally for Charlotte's wedding. Is my eldest daughter, who is meant to be getting married next Sunday, but of course, as with everything else, it's been put back. So these weren't actually the colours she wanted. She wanted some natural country colours with like oranges and pale blues, and she's got basically red, white and blue. But you know, you can put, I would have thrown all sorts of it. That Dazzler Cosmos would have gone in there. There would have been some marigolds would have gone in there. It would have just been an explosion of colour. But I've got to say, is it that one? That's it. This Bishop of Llandaff, something like that. It's just, go away fly. It's just glorious. Absolutely glorious. I will be growing that again. And then of course I've got some seed heads off the onions. They may as well come in useful for something because they haven't been useful for much else. So they've gone in as well. But yeah, nice little bright jug of flowers to brighten up the house in what's probably going to be a rotten couple of days weather-wise. But yes, that's probably, here comes the helicopter. Sure he sees me sitting here. Really, it's probably going to be far too long. I'll probably chop half of it out. If you knew, whenever I put the card out the camera, I put it in the laptop, and you upload or download or whatever it is you do, all the footage off your camera, and you can see the little clock going up time-wise as to how many minutes you're actually downloading, uploading. And usually once mine hits 50 minutes, my head is in my hands and I'm carrying on, not again, because that means I've got to try and cut at least half of the stuff out. But to be honest, there is just that much has happened since the July tour. It's sort of like everything's been checked earlier on in the season, so it's all been slow to get started. And I feel like, in a way, this is how I should have been a month ago, with everything starting to get really, really lush. But it's only really the last couple of weeks that things have started to swell and take on. Like I say, the beans, hopefully, won't be our best crop, but we'll get some. Courgettes, didn't fruit for ages, you know. And of course, on social media, you're seeing other people putting their harvests up and you're thinking, oh, mine haven't grown this year, I haven't done it. But, you know, it just goes to show you really shouldn't compare, because everybody's climate's different, everybody's soil's different. You know, we all plant and sow and do things at different times, but we get there in the end. Some with more success than others. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to catch up on. And actually, no, you know, I only do a video once a week. sometimes a little bit more. And I feel like at the moment I could come up here and you know, do one every day, every couple of days, but I'm not going to put you through that. It's enough once a week. And there are other people who do that and do it really, really well. So yeah, get over there. But yeah, so much to see. There is a definite change. I mean, kids in the UK have already started going back to school, and I think in England it's next Tuesday. But there is a definite change in the air. Autumn is definitely starting to set in. And again, it's one of my absolutely favourite seasons. Well, I think it is my favourite season. I say the same every time it's spring, but I love everything that's associated with autumn. I love the snuggling down, I love the candles, the fires, the cardigans, all that stuff, and all the sort of ghost stories and things that start to come out as we go later into October and things like that. But I've got to say, this year, with the situation as it's now become known, it's going to be a little bit different. But it's going to be a lot different because we have had the advantage over this whole rotten thing that we've been able to get out, or if we're lucky, if we're very, very lucky, we've been able to get out and enjoy our outside spaces. And it's going to be quite different that the virus, said it, is still around, and the nights are closing in. So it's time to start looking at indoor things, indoor hobbies. I'm very, very seasonal with my hobbies and things that I do, so I know fine well that as the nights start drawing in, I'll be picking up my sewing again and the wool and doing different sorts of things with them. But it also makes you appreciate every last day that we get that's like this. Because we don't know, you know, it's not like we can say, oh, well, it's summer now, we're going to get a few days like this. I'm waffling about the weather. I swore I wouldn't do that. But yeah, so just make the most of it, even though I'm too blooming warm. So anyway, that's it. I've got nothing else to tell you, and I'm not going to go rabbiting on about anything else at the moment. I'm going to try and stay focused on what I've just done today. The squash, thrilled with. I mean, they're going to be something in October, September, October time. We're going to have a really, hopefully, touch wood, we'll have a real harvest there, you know, a real crop coming in. And that was something really that Mike took on as a bit of fun when he took on the bit of extra land next door. So yeah, really looking forward to that. But for now, I am going to say au revoir. As ever, take a little look at the Facebook group. Really, really lovely. Thank you to everybody who subscribed over there, who has subscribed over here. It really, really does mean a lot, because, you know, I could just be sitting, well, I am sitting here talking to myself, as I've said before. But it's nice to have that feedback. Instagram page, all those things, I'll put the links down below. And yeah, get out there and start enjoying some of your harvests. Okay, leave a comment, let me know what you're up to, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.